Hey guys, today I'm going to teach you how to set up back button focus on the Fujifilm XT3. Let's get started. First of all, what is back button focus? Normally, when you take a shot, you half press the shutter, focus the shot by doing that, and when you full press the shutter, you take the shot. Well, with back button focusing, you separate that taking of the shot and focusing into two separate buttons. So instead of just using the shutter button or the shutter release to focus and take the shot, the shutter release will now be assigned only to take the shot, and then you're going to assign one of the back buttons. Normally it's going to be the AEL button on the back of the camera in order to focus the shot. Now, why is back button focus useful? Probably the biggest advantage of back button focus is that you'll have access to autofocus continuous and autofocus single at the same time. One example where you might use back button focusing is, let's say you're taking some portraits. The subject is at a fixed distance from the camera and they're not moving closer or further away from you. You can just focus with the back button or the AEL button, and when you need to take the shot, you click the shutter release. Let's say they change their pose or they change their facial expression just a little bit. Their head tilts just a touch, but they're not really moving closer or further away from the camera. You can slightly recompose without having to refocus again. When only one button is used for both the releasing of the shutter and focusing the lens, you're actually more prone to errors in focusing. So this is going to take away some of those errors. Now let's say you're taking those portraits and the subject suddenly starts to move towards you. You can go back to the back button to focus the shot and access continuous focus. So you can see the versatility is going to be a great thing with back button focus. Now let's get started and show you how to set up the camera. The first thing we're going to want to do is change our front dial to AFC or autofocus continuous. So we're at the back of the camera now. You can see when I tap the shutter release, the autofocus is working. You can see it switching back and forth from Steph Curry to BB-8, but we don't want that. So first, we're going to click Menu. We're going to go to the wrench, and then we're going to go to Button and Dial Setting. Now scroll down. Scroll down until you see Shutter Autofocus, and you're going to see AFS. We're going to turn that off. And also, we're going to turn AFC off. So now what that does is autofocus is now disabled on the shutter release button. Check it out. When I press it, BB-8 no longer comes in focus. And that's actually exactly what we want. Now we're going to set the AEL button on the back of the XT3 as the autofocus button. We can also do the AFL button if you want to do that, but for today, let's do the AEL button. We'll go back into the menu, click on the wrench, and we're going to go back to button and dial setting. We're going to go to function setting, and we're going to scroll all the way down to page 2 of that menu. We'll select the AEL button, and that's the button we want to change to control the autofocus, and change the AEL button to autofocus on. Click OK. And now you see when we press the AEL button, BB-8 comes into focus and Steph Curry comes into focus. So that's exactly what we want. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that tip on the Fujifilm XT3 and back button focusing. In the future, I'm going to be doing more videos on landscape photography and camera tips. So if you enjoyed that, please remember to subscribe and click the notification bell. Until then, we'll see you next time.